Well, hello, healthcare finance students. My name is Chris Gibbons. I'm your instructor for this course. And welcome back from spring break. We had a 1 week and then we had a break, and now here we are again. It was a little unusual. There were some unusual things with the academic calendar this year that required that spring break to happen. But anyhow, hopefully you're all back and rested, and now we're just going to carry on for the rest of the 6 weeks in this course. All right, so in this video, I want to talk about some of the new changes that we have to the layout of the course. I want to talk a little bit about what we did now 2 weeks ago in module 1, and also talk about what we're doing this week in module 2. All right, so with that, let's talk about the changes in the course. So as soon as you signed into Canvas and went to your course, you now found a new landing page. Here it is, and hopefully you're obviously watching this video. In the first week of the course, I like to keep that static page that we are kind of our standard template. After the first week, I bury that, and now I bring up this news and announcements area. And I like to use it like a video blog. So you'll see typically weekly videos posted in here. You might see very short announcements if it doesn't justify a whole video. And some other little things that will be helpful to you, and we'll talk about those in a second as well. The biggest thing to remember, though, is that before you blow by this page and go into your module to do your work, take a look at the page, see if I've uploaded any videos or if I put some announcement in there, because we change this course every time I run it. Okay, so we're always making some sort of an adaptation because all of you are different, and the situations in which we run the course are always different. So there's always a change done. And if we're doing a change, it's always probably going to make your life a little bit easier. Okay, so make sure you look for any announcements, any little videos. It's all laid out pretty well, as long as you just kind of look through it and go, okay, I saw that video. Oh, there's a new announcement about something or extra credit or whatever. Make sure you look at that just to keep informed on the course and help you work a little bit smarter rather than harder. All right, so that's a little bit about this page. It'll be up for the rest of the class, and then you'll see videos popping in here and all kinds of stuff coming in as we go along. All right, so let's talk a little bit about last week, or really 2 weeks ago with our module 1. And you probably have seen, if you looked at the syllabus, the class has a pretty standard flow to it. A topic paper, and then a learning activity. Let's talk about, everybody did well on the 2 assignments last week. Let's talk a little bit about the learning activity. So the learning activities are going to be more of your homeworky type stuff. They are usually going to be driven from the textbook. Okay. So here's one of the things I want to make you aware of. So wake up, make sure you listen to this part here. With the textbook, in the back, or I should say at the completion of each chapter, you will find, I will often reference problems or questions, and that's the key, problems or questions at the end of each one of the chapters. That will be a part of many of the learning activities. Not all, but many of them. The thing to be careful of, and it's really how the authors have done it, is a little bit confusing. So that's why I got to really hammer it home with the folks, because every time we've run the course, there's been people who have made mistakes. But again, if you go back and if you look at it, there's a set of questions. There we go, questions. It says the word questions right up there. And then there is a set of problems. Oh, look at that. I've even circled one of them. That's the one that you'll be having this week. So in the assignment details, I will tell you to do a question or a problem. Okay? Or sometimes it might be all questions, and sometimes it might be all problems. but just make sure you're grabbing the right one to do. Okay, I'll make it's really clear in the instructions on which ones to do. Where I think everybody gets confused is that they think, oh, he wants me to do 10.1 and 10.3. You go in the back and you look at it and you grab 10.1 and 10.3. You grab the wrong one. The numbering system they use for questions and problems, the numbering system is identical. So there is a question, 10.1, and there is a problem, 10.1. So again, make sure that you've got the right one. I have seen students, where they've done the entire assignment incorrectly. I think we've had a few of you that grabbed the wrong ones last week, and I didn't take any points off for that. But in the future, that may happen, where some points will come off. And also, I've seen students literally, they probably have spent 5 hours on an assignment that should have maybe taken 60 minutes because they chose, and usually the harder of the two are the problems. They did all of the problems when I said do these questions. Where the questions were pretty simple, just definition questions. They did these immensely long calculated problems like, oop, sorry, I'll give you credit for it, but you probably just spent 5 hours on it. So again, to your benefit, make sure that you're looking to which one, that I'm asking you to do. I don't want you spending 5 hours on the learning activities. Okay, so that talks about that part of learning activities. I want to talk a little bit more about learning activities. And some of you actually texted me. I know we've got, there's two versions of it. Well, obviously we are on the 7th edition, this one that's more colorful on the front. There's the 6th edition, okay? These guys are almost identical. Even when it comes to the questions and the problems in the back. What they've changed are maybe some words. I've noticed, like in saying, instead of saying, Good Samaritan Hospital, they changed it to, Greenville Hospital. I mean, they would change just a couple of things. They've left the numbers completely intact for a lot of those problems. The other thing is sometimes where with the new edition, I think they did good because they took away some of the components of especially those questions, the mathy questions, and they've taken out the harder ones. Okay, so you will, and that will make sense here in just a moment when I tell you why would I care what they've taken out of if they made it a little bit easier, because I am going to supply you some homework help. Okay, where a couple of years ago I basically set up and walked through a lot of the more difficult parts of the learning activity for that week. And down below the video, you'll see my first one for chapter 10. So if you're watching that video and going, wait a second, he just said Apex Corporation, but it says Beta Corporation in the book. Just go with the flow because the numbers are usually the same. And then you might see me do a setup to one of the more difficult parts of the problem. Where you see that you have to do A, B, C, and D. And I'll kind of walk through each one of those, questions, those little components to the questions. And some of them you may be looking at your book and go, why is he talking about this? It's not even there. The authors have excluded it. Just fast forward over that and then look for the other ones that you might need, because the setups and everything are for those, especially the more difficult problems are all, it will help you set those up and not spend hours and hours trying to figure that out. So use the homework help. It should be a pretty good guide for you in that. Okay, so I've almost beaten that to death in talking about our learning activities. Again, the questions are usually word-based and the problems are mathy-based. let's talk about math for a second. I know a lot of you have math anxiety. And I usually get a couple of drops in the first week. It's like inevitable. I never get drops in any of my other courses, but I get drops in the first couple of weeks because I think they see, oh my gosh, there's math. Just take a breath. You're going to be absolutely fine in this course. Here's a promise I make you that you can never have a correct math answer in this entire course and still get an A. Absolutely. Have students do it all the time. Okay. So all you need to do is to show a good faith effort. If I see the student, okay, yeah, they set it up. They clearly watched the homework help video, or they used maybe another method in the book. They've clearly, have tried to set it up. Yep, but maybe went a little awry somewhere down the road. You're going to get nearly full points for that. Okay. If there's, there'll be a small point deduction, but it will no way hamper or stop you from getting an A. Okay, you will, as long as, of course, you do the other assignments. You can't let those things go. You got to do everything in the class, and then you can sail right through and get your A. So long story short is you put forth good faith effort, you're going to do really, really well in this course. And those students, there's always a few group of you that get like answers perfectly. Great job. Learning. So lastly about learning activities. So in order to capture the full points, look, I know the internet's out there. You can look up answers. I'm aware of these websites. Yeah. So, they are out there. But what I would, in order to get full points for the learning activities, when you're doing the mathy stuff, okay, make sure you show your work. You do that, you're golden. Last week, some of you just gave me straight answers. Yeah, probably could have found those on the internet in about a minute. But you may have worked them out by longhand. I don't know. That's the thing, I don't know. There was a small deduction on points of that because it does say show your work in the instructions for the assignment. So again, make sure you're showing your work and you'll be absolutely fine. Here comes the other thing that's going to happen. As we go through the course, you're going to see calculators, web-based calculators be introduced. Again, I don't want you guys necessarily doing things by longhand calculations. I can usually tell the people that don't watch the videos because they'll do them by longhand calculations. I'm going to be introducing, I think we go through maybe 4 different web-based calculators as we go through the course. They will literally take a problem and make it very quick for you to do. Probably as quick it would be to look it up on the internet to find the answer. But this way you can set it up in the web-based calculator, which I go through in the lecture videos and in the homework help. You can use the web-based calculator and screenshot that. That's showing your work. So if you want to show your work, I did have one student, yay, last on module 1, she screenshotted her work. Perfect, absolutely perfect. So, and didn't have to do a bunch of writing or anything like that. So screenshot your work, crop it, put it in a Word document, and you'll be absolutely fine there. Okay, that's it for the learning activities. I know those are the things that cause the most headache. The other thing with the topic essays, those are usually pretty easy. The only part that I saw with a few of you, again, everybody did well. There was definitely a good chunk of outstanding. It's a 5-paragraph essay, and you want to be doing full paragraphs. So just make sure you're having robust paragraphs. That usually brings you to about 1 full page plus 1/2 of a page. So 1 1/2 pages. If I'm looking at something with 2-sentence paragraphs, missing, if it says, give an example or whatnot, missing examples or that, you're going to start seeing some points come off for that. So again, make sure you're doing some well-rounded paragraphs, with those topic essays. And I personally, I would recommend, look at, if you're at the 5.5 page or 5.5, that's my graduate class. Be thankful that you're not teaching, you're not in that class. They do a lot more. But you guys, if it's about 1.5 pages, you're good. You could probably wind it up there. There were some folks that submitted 4 pages last week. Outstanding. You could literally write a textbook on these topics. So, and multiple textbooks. It should be pretty low-hanging fruit to fill out about 1.5 pages. I would say, don't go over 2. If you find yourself really excited about a topic, but just, you got other things to do in your life, finish it up, and try to not exceed, more than 2 pages. You're not going to get points off, but, I don't want it to be over burdensome. I just want you to think about what we're talking about that week. I try to pull out concepts that, if you're going to write about it, it helps you to remember it. And, then when you see it in real life, you can go, oh yeah, I remember I remember about, risk and reward and why that's out there, or time value of money, and why that works both on the business level, you making decisions as a healthcare manager, also even as in your own personal level. This is not a personal finance class. We do have one of those. I do teach that. Usually run it once a year. But this is but the principles. Some of these principles are fundamental to anything when you're dealing with monetary transactions. So yeah, if some of these things can even be in your own personal lives as well. All right, that's enough of that with the homework that we're doing with the learning activities and the topic essays. All right, so let's jump out real quick and talk about, before we get into what we're doing this week, you can see I've posted that homework help for chapter 10, okay? Actually, 10 and 11, we'll have them all posted for you on here all the way through. I also have I have the answers for last week's learning activity on here as well. If you want to see the absolute precise answers, feel free to absolutely take a look at that. You're going to see as you go through the course, I usually wait a little while. There's, some people are late for various reasons, and then I'll post the answers. All right, so you got a lot of homework help. I would recommend that you look at that, make your life a little bit easier. And then again, look for any weekly updates that are on this page. All right, let's talk a little bit about what we're doing this week, and we'll wind up this video a little long. It's our first one. These normal videos will only go about 5 to 10 minutes. This week, we're doing risk and return, one of my favorites. Again, topic essay, a learning activity, and a progress journal. You'll have one more of those in the course. That's super easy, 25 points. With the learning activity this week, let's take a look. All right, so here we go. Please address the following problems, not questions. Okay, so make sure you grab those and you'll be absolutely fine. And of course, see if I can highlight that. Show all your work for credit. And remember, showing your work can be a screenshot of a calculator on those weeks that's applicable, that we're using calculators. All right, guys, that pretty much covers it for now. Hope everybody has a fantastic week. If you need to get in touch with me, there's a couple of ways. One is text message. I have given out to thousands of students over the years. Totally fine to text me, especially for those quick little one-off things, okay? If you don't want to do that, that's totally fine. You can also use email. Obviously, I'm working from home for 3 days out of the week, and then I'm back on campus for 2 days. So phone, this doesn't work anymore. Phone really doesn't work. It's usually email and text message. Email for short, quick, or texting for short, quick things. Email for long form stuff. I will say late work. I do accept late work. There is a deduction on points for late work. Of course, to be fair to everybody that turns it in on time. if you feel like you're going to be late on assignment, you're more than, you could always text me, hey, I'm going to be late on, on it. I'll have it in by Wednesday. That's fine. If I go into the grading and I see it's missing, I will give you a 1 single point grade, and then I'll always write in the notes, please submit for course points. Okay. It doesn't mean that 1 is forever. That's, oh my God, he gave me 1 point on 50 points. I was late and now I can't go back and change it. Yep. I'll absolutely regrade it once you have submitted it. It's just a nice way for me to remember that it's lingering out there, and for you to kind of give you a heads up like, oh, it's, yeah, I got to get this in. The way that you not get an A in this course is by missing assignments. If you miss 2 majors assignments, you already have lost a letter grade because each one's worth about 50 points and we're a 1,000-point course. So make sure, you don't have something missing. Even if you think, oh my God, I'm late, I can't get the assignment in, he's going to take the deduction on points. Yeah, there's a deduction on points, but if you, lose 10 points or so on an assignment on a 50-pointer, it's still, that's going to help you preserve your A. So make sure you get your stuff in, get your assignments in, as you go. All right, guys, that pretty much covers it for this week. Everybody have a fantastic week, and I'll check in with you later.